Hi friends, this is Chris Beckman, the corporate chaplain for Ebenezer, and this is a series of devotions that we're creating here at Ebenezer. It's a way to help respond to the COVID-19 virus that all of us are encountering, and many of the things that we wouldn't normally do or would normally do aren't able to do now. So we're going to be doing this series of devotions, and along with that, a series of worship services that are available in all of our communities. If you have questions or wonder how you might be able to access them, reach out to your activity director or the executive director at the place that you live. Welcome. Today is the third one, and I have kind of an interesting title. It's called One Who Walks with a Black Dog. I'm going to say that again because you might think you're mishearing. One Who Walks with the Black Dog. Some of you who have lived in England or are English or know someone who's English may know that the reference when someone says, that's a person who walks with the black dog, it means someone who has depression. And I think of that all the time when I'm driving to work, because almost daily I drive on 35W and I go by the street sign that says Black Dog Road. And I think of that every time, one who walks with the black dog. And I think of it because depression is so prevalent in our world, and it's also something that I personally struggle with, as a lot of us do. I mean, now is an especially difficult time for those of us. The light is difficult, and all of this stress is happening around us. And for me especially, probably for you as well, the things that I would do to make myself feel better, to exercise and to play hockey and to be out. The hockey rinks are closed, the gym just closed yesterday, and all of these warnings about going out. So what do we do, friends, as we enter this time when some of us are really having some struggles? One of the first things I might suggest is comedy. This is a time when we probably should be avoiding those heavy dramas and focusing instead on something funny. We might make phone calls to one another, or especially those of us who are from a generation where writing letters and writing cards was still such a big part of who we are in our lives. Think if you were to start writing a letter a day to your grandkids, to someone for whom a handwritten letter is about as foreign as a telephone plugged into the wall with an extended cord. They might find that to be an incredible joy. I know one of my grandparents is actually thinking about writing her own personal story as a gift to the grandchildren, as a way to let them know when they care about it someday, well, what did I do? Who did I marry? What were the jobs that I thought about doing? What are the things that I want them to remember about me and my family and story? You might even reread a favorite book. One of my favorite authors, as probably a lot of you know this author, is C.S. Lewis. And C.S. Lewis, who wrote a lot of great spiritual books, had this one phrase that has always stuck with me. He said, "A book worth reading once is a book worth rereading again." A book worth reading once is a book worth rereading again. On all of your shelves, you probably still have books or books around you. And it's sort of like we have this collection of friends that will help us to not feel as isolated or as left out. Part of it, dear friends, is that this is just not going to be an easy time for us. There's no magic wand. There's no unicorn that's going to take away all of this difficulty and all of this complexity and is suddenly going to make it all right. Those of us who have wrestled with mental health or depression for a long period know that there aren't easy answers and there aren't quick solutions. And we're in an especially difficult time. But part of the wisdom, I think, that I've learned in my life is that there's beauty and wonder in just holding on. If we can hold on during this time and find the support that is near us, that is available to us, it's going to get better before long. And we'll hold on. And the sunlight each day is getting longer, and the spring warmth is coming, and we're getting used to dealing with this COVID-19, and we're finding new and creative ways to be there for each other. So hold on. Do what you can to keep your health up, your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health. Hold on. We will do it together as a community and as a nation. I want to leave you with a quote. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who is familiar to a lot of us who are Lutherans, who was a theologian and Lutheran pastor in Nazi Germany. And he lost his life in prison at the hands of Hitler and his guards because he was opposing the Nazi regime. And one of his famous books is one that had a collection of his writings from when he was in prison, which is isolating and difficult and painful, and probably somewhat mirrors a little bit the stuff that we're going through today. So here's the quote that I want to leave you with today. We must learn to regard people less in the light of what they do or omit to do, and more in the light of what they suffer. We must learn to regard people less in the light of what they do or omit to do, and more in the light of how they suffer. Dear friends, none of us want to be in these difficult times. None of us want to deal with depression. None of us want to deal with physical ailments or pains. It's part of life, and some of us deal with it more than others. But hold on. Together, and things are going to get better, and they will with each other and in community. Thanks for listening. Blessings on the journey.